And this is the result what I have. I have a little bit of noise, but this is normal because the GI quality is set to 0 and the shading rate is set to 3. And if I want to increase the reflection or refraction quality, I should go a little bit higher. But since I have so much things to cover, I won't render this image in better resolution with better settings. I will jump to my next scene, which is again an interior scene. And here I have a small interior with lots of lights inside. And to find the light and to adjust the light, I should go inside of the outliner and search it. But what can I do now is to use the V-Ray light lister. Here you will find all the lights in your scene, not only V-Ray lights, but mild lights as well if you have some. So now I can enable light or disable it, rename it, then adjust the intensity of the light, can change colors. Here the most important settings for the light you will find inside the light lister. It's very easy now to experiment with a different lighting setup just by enabling and disabling lights. And if you need all of the settings of the light, you can just go over here and click on it. And it will turn into green and will show you the attributes of the light. And if you have, for example, instances, they will be listed in a drop-down menu. So you can control multiple lights by just from the light lister. It saves me a lot of time. Back to my presentation. So if I make a product shot and, for example, the customer says, okay, but I want to see what's inside the product. So like, for example, this truck over here. There are many ways to do that. But for me, as a 3D artist, the most easier and faster way to cut the geometry is using the clipper. And I'm going to show you the clipper in my next scene. So here it is. You can create a clipper from this button over here. And I have created 2 clippers already. So I will start the RT. So I have interactive renderer and immediately can see what's going on in my scene. I will enable the clipper and you can see in no time I have cut my geometry in half. So because I'm using the RT, I can, for example, move the clipper, or I can rotate it, and I can see the feedback immediately, what's going on. And I can apply different materials on the clipper, and in the moment I'm using a standard V-Ray material with yellow color. I can choose another color for it, or even better, so even better, I can use the object material, so the material from my object. And if I want, at the moment, the clipper is cutting all the geometry, but let's say that I don't want the engines to be cut. I can exclude them from my list by clicking over here. Then I should find my engines. Here they are, and you see the result. You can use this list as an include list. So use the clipper the other way around. And you can have multiple clippers as well, so many clippers cutting your geometry. each of them with exclude or include list. So in a real photography studio, the photographer measures the light with a light meter. We have, in order to set the correct camera exposure, we have the same tool inside V-Ray, and it is called V-Ray white meter. In my next scene, I'm going to show you what is the white meter and how you can use it. So here it is, and let me start the RT. You can see immediately that I have overexposed images. So if I go with my mouse, you see that I have values over 1. So, and at these places I have overexposed images. It's burning. What can I do? Of course, I can go in the camera and tweak the parameters or tweak the lights in order to have the correct exposure, but there is another way to do that. And this is the V-Ray white meter. You can create the white meter from here, and I have already created one, and you should place it at where you have overexposed areas. You can adjust the size of the clipper, so V-Ray will measure in this area over here, and you can tell at how many points should the white be measured. So I can increase the points or decrease them. Okay, let's calculate. I'll click on the calculate button, and V-Ray will give me just in a few seconds values. These values I can put them over here, and in order to see my heat map. So my lower value is 1697, and my maximum value is, I think, over here 1889. So this is the preview of my heat map. How to use it? How to use that? We have a free script which you can use, and it's a Python one, and I have put it over here. Let's take a look at our camera. At the moment we have ISO from 600, and my image was overexposed. Let's use the script, and after using the script you can see that my ISO has changed. And if I render now, you'll notice that I don't have any overexposed areas anymore. If I go with my mouse cursor, there are no values over 1. So the white meter is perfect to be used for a starting point to set your ISO. And now I can adjust it a little bit, and I'm happy with the result as it is. Okay, let's talk about proxies. The V-Ray proxy is a very well known tool in V-Ray since version 1. And our developers made some improvements to it in the service pack, which I'm going to show you in my next scene. Let me just open it. Okay. Here I have this creature. It is like a robot, and I want to export it as a proxy. So I will go over here and click Create Proxy. So I want to export the whole mesh as one proxy, and here I can give it a name, for example, proxy. And if you have animation, you can export the animation as well. Previously, we had just this option over here, and in the viewport, we were able to see the proxy as a polygon cloud. And it was not so easy to position a proxy when we had a lot of proxies in the scene. So now we have new different preview types, and I'm going to use the refined clustering quality. And I can tell how many polygons should I see in the viewport. So I have enabled the automatically create proxy as well. So V-Ray will add the proxy automatically in my scene after it has saved it on my hard drive. And I can open the output window from Maya to see what's going on. And I can see that V-Ray is exporting and saving my mesh. It will take a moment. Okay, and we're almost done. I hope you guys can hear me well, because in the chat I see now that there is a note with no sound. Okay, so, and the proxy export is completed. And here I can see the representation of the proxy, which is now easier to position. And if I want, I go over here and click on the show whole mesh, and V-Ray will load the whole mesh for me and show it in the viewport. Here it is. And if I click on the render button, you see that I have all my materials set correctly and exported with the proxy. So here it is. This is my render. Thank you for your feedback for the sound. I'm happy that you can hear me. All right. And one more thing, which is really great. In the new service pack, you can render proxies and instances much more faster. Let me show you this. I have prepared a video for you, and it's this one. So you can compare between V-Ray 3.0 and 3.1. This scene was made with the same proxy as you already seen in my previous scene with the robot, and I have created a particular particles, and for each particle I have added the proxy. So you can see the difference between 3.0 and 3.1. So 13 minutes and 51 seconds for 3.0 and 9 minutes and 11 seconds for the new service pack. So about 30% faster proxy rendering. Okay, and with the service pack 1, you get another small handy program called Mesh Viewer. You can type in your search box Mesh Viewer, or you find it over here in your Maya bin folder. And with it, you can preview proxies, animated proxies, or Alembic files. So it's not necessary to open Maya and wait and then import the proxy. You can just use this program. So here I have Alembic hair, or I can import Alembic particles with animation, and I can subdivide meshes. So, for example, this one, I can go click on subdivide level, and here it is. back to the presentation. So since more and more users want to render on their graphic cards, our developers have improved the GPU rendering quite a lot. And you can see here some of the improvements. And I'm going to open my next scene so you can see them and how they work. So here it is. Okay, I'm firing up the RT. And so you can see that I am rendering on my graphic card. I will show you that I am using the CUDA version because I have an NVIDIA graphic card. And if you guys have AMD graphic card, make sure to use OpenCL. All right. And the first improvement is that you can render now displacement on the GPU. And you all know that with displacement you can add a lot of details without modeling anything, which is pretty nice. V-Ray will load the map, the displacement map, and in a few seconds you'll be able to see the result. So here it is. So the next thing what I'm going to show you is that you can use the V-Ray temperature on the GPU. And I have set here the flames with the V-Ray temperature, and I can make it yellow, or I can use the temperature mode and type a value which I want to use. So you can use multiple divide textures on the GPU as well. So if I switched here, you can see the difference. And we do support remap textures as well. So HSV remap or RGB remap, now they are supported. It's me personally, I prefer to adjust my maps to tweak a little bit the color corrections inside Maya and not going back to Photoshop. And you can have now an isotropy effect over here and simulate some scratches or make a brush material like I did here. Okay. And we support UDIM tags as well. So I have painted here the textures for this robot inside Mary, and I will show you my UVs. This is my UVs. So they are not situated just in 0 to 1 UV space, but to 8. And Mari exports UDIM text up. Wrong button. So here they are. Here you can see Mari and UDIM. If you guys prefer to use Modbox and paint your textures inside Modbox, you can do that. We support UV tiles as well. And now I'm going to show you how you can bake on the GPU. The texture, I mean. And texture baking is mostly used in the game industry, but we receive this is a request, so many users said that they want to bake on the GPU, so we, our developers, integrated this. And how to do that? First go in the baking section, and then I want to bake a texture. And because I have already shown you my UVs and they are until 8. I have put here 8. And make sure that you have the correct image aspect, so aspect ratio of 8, so you don't have any stretching in the texture. And I guess I'm ready to go. So, and again, I'm rendering on the GPU, and if you guys have some render elements, if you have added some render elements, they will appear over here. So you can make some compositing afterwards if you want. So here it is. This is my texture baked on the GPU. And here I have the whitening path as well. So now you can render your creatures or characters inside on the GPU. Not only the displacement is supported, but you can render hair and ray traced subsurface scatter. And to show you this, I'm going to open my next scene. It is this one. Give it a second to load. Okay. Many of you have probably seen this creature, this mythical creature, and it has been created by Matteo Aerni, who was so kind and gave it to us. Originally, the scene was created in 3ds Max, but I have imported it into Maya and shaded it over here, so you can see. You see, here it is. I can render subsurface scatter effects and here on the GPU. I open my hyper shade and draw a region. Behind the creature I have a light source which I enable, so you can see the effect even better. So this is my material. This is a fast SSS material, and if I increase here the scatter radius, for example, let's say 0.8, you see at the thin parts more from the subsurface scatter effect. I can increase it even more. And for the other ear as well. And for the hair is my hair. And I'm using the V-Ray hair material because it gives me very nice results and renders very quickly, as you can see. I'll change some parameters so you can see the difference. And this is my final result. So inside Service Pack 1, you can render the fur rendering. We improved the fur, the fur rendering became faster. And I have a video so you can see the difference. Let me just find it. It's this one. And I have set the scene with V-Ray fur. So the cat is set with V-Ray fur and the carpet is set with V-Ray fur. And you can clearly see how faster the Service Pack 1 is with comparison with V-Ray 3. So it's almost 4 minutes 11 seconds for V-Ray 3 and 2 minutes and 37 seconds for 3.1. So almost twice faster. We have also improved V-Ray two-sided material. As a 3D artist, I usually use the two-sided material for very thin objects, like, for example, curtains, leaves, or paper. And I have set the next scene, which is this one. over here. I have set this scene with the two-sided material. So I have lamps which are floating on the water surface. And I have applied this two-sided material. At the moment, I have just for the front material, a V-Ray material with a texture. I will show you the texture. It is this one, and I can see it over here. But if this is a paper or newspaper, there are letters on the other side, or there is a picture on the other side, and I'm going to plug another material for the back side. And now, let me show you. This is the texture, and now I'm seeing just the back material, the texture from the back material. And in the real world, we expect to see something like this. So I googled a paper lamp image, and this is what I found. So I'm able to see the letters not only on the back side but on the front side as well. So we have added this option over here, multiply by front diffuse, and just by enabling it, you see the huge difference between the two renders. So now the result is better, and I'm able to see not only the back material but the front material because they are multiplied. So with the improved two-sided material, you get more realistic results. As you probably all know, in V-Ray there are a lot of render elements which gives you a freedom in the compositing part afterwards. So if you want to change the lightning, you can do this. If you want to change the color of an object, you can do this with another render element and not by pre-rendering the image. And now we have added two more render elements, which are V-Ray Object Select and V-Ray Material Select. Let me show you where to find those and how to use them. So I'm going to start again the RT, and here in the render elements I have already added some of those. So the first one is the material select. You can add the material select from here, material select, and then you should plug the material over here. So I want to have all of the objects which has this material, the glossy metal, in a separate render element. The same I have made for the old metal over here. And you can take a look at those here. Those are all my objects using the glossy metal. And here are the materials with the old metal. And the object select, you can create it from here, to add it from here. And then the only thing you should do, you should add an object ID to the object you want to add to the render element. So here I have number 2, and this is number 2. So if I go and take a look, here it is. And now I can adjust the colors in the post-production without rendering the image one more time if I say, okay, I want to have the metal a little bit darker or so. Okay, and now it comes the fun part, and this is the VR, virtual reality. Nowadays, it is not, we want not just to see something, but we want to feel it, to be involved in the action. So that's why the virtual reality is the trend nowadays. Everybody talks about the VR. And you can render an image and put it in your headset, for example, Oculus VR, Oculus or Samsung Gear VR, and I'm going to show you now our new camera modes with which you can render stereoscopic images. Okay, so I have here an interior scene, and it's important to position your camera. So at the moment my camera is set in the middle of the room. So here it is. This is the first step. The second step is to add some attributes. So add camera settings. Let me show this. I have already added this. Here it is, camera settings. And here are the two new camera modes, spherical panorama and the cubic one. I will use the spherical panorama. And because we want to render a whole sphere, I need to override the field of view. So here and here. And let's see what we are going to get. Here it is. Now I have a whole spherical panorama. But I want to render stereoscopic, so I can load my image afterwards in my headset. For this purpose, I need to enable here the stereoscopic camera. You can add it from here. And I enable this, and I'm going to start rendering and explain what the settings do. So we have here eye distance, and an average person has a distance between his eyes about 6.5. If you want to exaggerate the stereoscopic effect, you can play with this parameter over here. Then we have here three different methods of rendering stereoscopic: none, rotation, and shear. For better results, I prefer to use the rotation and the shear one. So, and here I have this option, adjust resolution, which I enable every time, because V-Ray will adjust the resolution automatically for me. Because I'm rendering for the left eye an image and for the right eye an image, V-Ray will double the width. So here I have set this to 1000, and V-Ray has adjusted for me, so I have here 2000. And now with this button over here, I can make a stereoscopic preview over here. And if you have cyan magenta glasses, you'll be able to see the 3D effect. Let me show you the next camera mode, the cube one. For the cube one, you should add again the attributes which I have showed you already from here, camera and stereoscopic. And the difference is that over here I'm not using anymore the spherical panorama but the cubic one. So, and pay attention that you should set your image aspect ratio correct, because we are rendering a cube, a whole cube, and the cube has 6 sides. This is the reason why I have put here aspect ratio of 6. So I won't have any stretching in my image. And while this is rendering, I can show you a pre-rendered image for this. Let me just find it. Here it is. So this image goes in your headset, Samsung Gear VR or in the Oculus. And I have tested this, and this is the preview. This is the result, what I have seen with the headset on my head. All right. And again, I can preview. Here it is. The stereoscopic effect. And now I will show you how you can speed up the stereoscopic rendering in my next scene with the feature called shade map. So first, you can create a shade map, but let me render this. V-Ray will render two pictures, so one for the left and one for the right eye. And as you see, it will take a while, right? But I can speed it up using the shade map. First, you will need to render a shade map. At the moment, here it is disabled. And when you put render shade map, V-Ray will render just the one of the eyes and will save it on your hard drive. And then you can reuse it by go over here and use shade map. And if I click on the render button, you will see that V-Ray is rendering this in no time. This feature is perfect when you want to adjust the stereoscopic effect or when you play with the depth of field. It's a very handy one. And this was it. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. And if we have time and if you are interested in the video of the service pack, I can play it, and while it's playing, you can of course ask questions.
I think we have some time. You can
okay,
play
I'll play the video then. I have already showed the stuff, but it's not on YouTube. You can take a look if you haven't. Thank you for the great feedback, guys.
Jana, we have some questions.
Yeah, V-Ray work with hypershade, preview, render. Yes, it works. You meant this was in the video, right? You can preview your shaders. It works with V-Ray. In the hypershade. There is a mask inside the render element. If you an alpha mask, there is an alpha mask. I try to understand the question.
Okay. Yes, it's about will we cut the result from alpha channel, or we need
yes,
to
there is
render
an alpha channel. It's automatically added. Yes. Here, probably you have saw it, the alpha channel in the video. Okay, that was it. That was all.
So, Jana, thank you so much for this webinar.
Thank you very much.
It was very interesting, really.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah. So, have a nice day.
Thank you, you too, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.